rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Hello, Muse. It is I. You know who I is. I is you, you is I. You is we is us. I have something that I want to talk about that was brought about by my doing the second round of proofing for Dracula Theory. Now, usually I don't do proofing for my books, but in this instance I wanted to because the first round of proofing was done by someone that had never worked with me before on this level, and I wanted to see how she worked. She worked out okay, and it's gone off to a third round of proofing, which should be the final round of proofing, because I'm pretty happy with the way it is already. But you know how it is. Third time's the charm. The more eyes that are on the book, the better. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. I quoted Shakespeare for a reason. As he said in Romeo and Juliet, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. But would it? Really? Would it? A rose by any other name. Yes, of course I know what he was saying. That you could call a rose a pig. And if you smell the rose that you called pig, it's still going to smell like a rose. It's still going to smell sweet. But the thing is that readers can't... books aren't scratch and sniff. At least they're not anymore. They used to be. I remember when I was a little kid, they had those little scratch and sniff books where you would scratch a little thing, you'd sniff it, and it really always kind of smelled like cinnamon or something like that, but they were pretty cool because we were little kids, and little kids are amused by just about anything. But with readers, they have one thing. They have your words. And words have power. And words are important. Now, I know, Muse, that I have a tendency to take the approach a little differently than a lot of, especially a lot of modern writers. And I get some guff about this from other writers, but the writer's primary tool is words. And the combining of words in such a way as to convey meaning and feeling and things like that, and ambiance. And so how we choose those words is crucial. Now, I've talked about this before, but the way I write, I generally edit as I write. And as I edit while I write, I always place a lot of focus on making sure that I have chosen the right word. And sometimes it takes me a while, not to figure out the word, but it takes me a while to edit as I go, because I will be reading along something that I've written. I'll read and I'll get caught, and I'll see and I'll feel and I'll sense that I have chosen the wrong word for something, and my brain stops on that wrong word, and it goes, wait a second, something's wrong here. Something is out of place. Something is just not right. And I extract that word and I put in its place a word that is more apropos. Not just for what I'm trying to convey within the sentence, within the framework of a sentence or the framework of a paragraph, but also a word that better fits the meter, the rhythm, and the subtext and the textuality, the textual nature of the sentence, of the paragraph, whatever. So to me, an individual word has multiple dimensions and multiple layers. And yes, I understand that sometimes I can get a little OCD about this. Especially I'll be reading something that I've written and I'll see a repeated word within a paragraph. And I'm like, oh, no, that can't happen. And that becomes a puzzle. That becomes a very a very long drawn out process of first deciding which of the repeated words can go. So if I have the same word repeated in one paragraph, I look at each one and I say, okay, I have to get rid of one of these words. Which one within which sentence has to stay? Or sometimes I'll just go, okay, let's just take this word out, this repeated word out, and we'll put in different words and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, I say, okay, it doesn't work for this sentence. It works okay for this, but not for this one. So let's put the original word back up here, and we'll keep this new word here and see how it works. And you reread it, and you have to you can't just toss in a random word, not a random word, but a word that has the same meaning. Because what happens if that new word screws up the meter or the syntax of the paragraph, and all of a sudden it's like you're reading along and you hit this new word and it kind of stumbles. It causes you to pause and go, wait a second, that's out of place. Not the meaning of the word. The meaning of the word fits the sentence. I still understand what I'm trying to convey. But all of a sudden, I had a specific rhythm going on in this paragraph, and this new word trips up that rhythm. Now, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a good thing, especially if you have a rhythm in a paragraph, as like a long paragraph, and the rhythm is going da 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 da, not like Shakespeare's iambic pentameter, but you have a specific rhythm going on. Very short, choppy sentences, blah 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 blah, bang, blah 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 blah, bang, blah blah bang, and then all of a sudden you want to go, I don't want the reader to get too comfortable with that rhythm. So I need to drop in a longer word to make the reader go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Obviously, the writer wants me to know that word is important in that place. So, to me, words are more than words. Individual words are almost like a universe in and of themselves. And to choose them carefully is crucial for a writer. I mean, think about this. I always say that the single most challenging thing to do as a writer is to write something short. To write, on Twitter and Facebook, there's always these popular, write a 6-word horror novel. Those are really hard to write something effective. Or write a monologue. Or in line with what I'm talking about right now, and this is probably one of the best, I think, not examples, but the best tests of your verbiage mettle is to write a poem. Because poems tend to be very short, unless it's an epic poem, of course. They tend to be very short, and every word matters. Even the smallest little word, even and a and be and the, they all matter. Because you only have a certain amount of time and space to convey the meaning and the feelings and thought expressed and the universe of the poem. So you cannot waste a single syllable. And personally, I like to apply that same idea to the novel. I don't like to waste words. Because if you throw too many wasted words into a sentence, or if you just waste too many words within a paragraph, things can really tend to fall apart on you. Now, I'm not saying, of course, I'm not saying that you have to obsess over every single word in a sentence of your book. Because sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Sometimes a word is just a word. Sometimes the word but is just a way to convey a secondary thought, a contradictory thought. You know, you don't want to sit there and obsess over A. I don't know if A is the right word. You know what I mean? But when it comes to truly conveying thought and feeling and ambiance, those individual words become crucial. And another thing that I like to do with words, and I truly believe that one of my jobs as a writer, and I've said this before, that I think that the purpose of literature is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. And sometimes one of the ways that we as writers can educate readers is to make them look up a word. I'm not talking about you shouldn't be doing that every sentence. You shouldn't be bragging about your vocabulary in every sentence. You shouldn't be bragging about your vocabulary at all. But that doesn't mean you can't challenge a reader. And that's one of the great things about e-readers, about Kindle, is that when a reader comes across a word they don't understand, they can long press it and all of a sudden, boop, dictionary comes up. Tell them what the meaning of the word is. And guess what? They've learned something in the process of reading your book. And that's a great thing, because not only, if you've written the book well, not only are they learning a lesson, a life lesson from the book, they're expanding their vocabulary. And there is not a damn thing wrong with that. You have educated, you have enlightened, and you have entertained a reader. You've educated them by expanding their vocabulary. You've enlightened them by giving them a whole new perspective on a possible topic. And you've entertained them by possibly making them laugh, making them cry. Hopefully both. Words, they really are important. So, as you're either writing, because writers have different methods. Some writers will just open up their mouths, their metaphorical pens in their mouth, and vomit out words onto a page, metaphorical page. And then they go back and they'll do a first pass edit. And then they go, don't like the way this is. Let's rewrite this. We'll rewrite that. We'll rewrite all this. That's when they go in and they start changing their verbiage and expanding and blah, blah, blah. And some writers like myself, we do it as we go. There is not one right or wrong method. The right method is what helps you to get from beginning to end of your book. But you should be taking caution and care with the words you choose. Because they're your words. And you want them to represent not just the characters, not just the story, not just the universe that you have created, but you also want them to represent you. You don't want to throw in a bunch of monosyllabic words in big blocks of paragraphs to make the reader think, this writer's vocabulary could use some expansion. And at the same time, you don't want to throw in a bunch of horribly complicated words all over the place. Just pepper every paragraph with challenging words such that every sentence the reader's going, beep, what's that word? Beep, what's that word? Beep, what's that word? Challenge them, but don't intimidate them. Don't make them feel stupid, but don't make yourself come across as stupid. Stupid. Had to air bunny that. Air bunny. Sorry. Anyway, Muse, that's all I got today. But I'm excited that Dracula Theory is almost ready to hand over to the public, which also means that I can go back to the other book that I still can't remember the title of and finish the first draft of that. I'm going to have to reread a bunch of it because I don't remember where I was in the story. But I'm excited to get that one done because it's something very different that nothing that I've ever written is anything remotely like that. So, of course, I still have to memorize The Mystery of Irma Vep. I'm in Act 3, so I'm getting there. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm way off topic, Muse. Why do you let me get off topic? Muse, come on. You're better than that. Actually, you know what? You're more than better. You are awesome.